Hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to go over a question that we get pretty regularly, and actually today we got this question twice in one day. So Alicia asked, are you pretty comfortable shooting in low lighting like this? And she sent me a photo of the potential venue. And Bree asked me, can you shoot in this room if it's super dark? Yes, we can. And not only that, we actually prefer shooting in dark rooms. As you saw before, the way I started this video, we were shooting completely in the dark and there was absolutely no lighting in this room, which created just a very dark and, flat kind of look. So what we always do whenever we have a dark scenario to work in is, we do this anyway, but we always bring lighting, our own lighting that we can use to shape the scene however we want. So in a situation where the room is super dark, we actually prefer that because as you can tell in a scenario where it's a little bit darker, we end up using lighting that we like to shape the scene how we want it to look like. Even a good example, just right now I was trying to film, and because there was so much light coming through into the room, I actually had to set up a couple of reflectors to shield the light from the outside. So when it's super bright, we're actually fighting the light and fighting the sun and fighting all the elements. When it's dark, we actually thrive off of that. I think that most of our photos have a little bit more of a moody, dark, contrasty look, and that's because we shape the scene how we want it to be, not exactly how it is. So in a dark scenario, we actually get to play around a little bit more. We can add color to the scene, we can make it look darker, we can make it look brighter, we can put a spotlight on our couple or on our subject and make them look like they stand out, even if it's on a very big landscape kind of shot. And that's why almost in every single shoot that we do, we always bring a lighting assistant, not just because it's good for us so the shooter can concentrate on the couple and not the lighting and all that, but if we need to light something that's maybe 30, 40 feet away from a very specific angle, by having that lighting assistant, it just helps so much more than setting up a light stand or whatever the case may be. And that's why I tell photographers, like, listen, spend the extra whatever it may be that you pay your assistant. It's worth every penny, because the shots that you can get when you have somebody that's mobile, that you have somebody that can be standing in a place where you can't put a light stand, that shot may be the one that a couple or a client may see and be like, I want to book this photographer because they can do things like this. So to me, it's a no-brainer. We bring an assistant pretty much on every single shoot. So when it's super bright out, we are actually fighting the sun. I'm gonna use the sun because that's the brightest thing that we have. So let's say we're outside in the middle of the day and it's super bright sunlight. Instead of shooting, we can shoot natural light and it'll look nice and it'll look plain, I guess, but when we want to try to shape and add a different element to the shoot, we need a lot of power out of our flashes. So every single time the flash goes off, we have to wait a few seconds for it to recycle, and it kind of slows down the flow. If you're in a dark room, in a dark scenario, you actually don't need that much flash power, because this is for photographers. Your ISO is a lot higher, so that way you don't need to keep popping so much, generally speaking. If you're in a dark room, you can shoot and shoot and shoot, and you can have the scenario or that scene done in a matter of a few seconds if you already tested it out, rather than being outside and waiting for your flash to catch up so you don't overheat it. So yes, shooting in a dark area, for us anyway, the style that we shoot is definitely more preferable. Is it a bit of a challenge sometimes? Yes, but I think with so much practice that we've had, whether it be the team meetings or it's on the field and trying new things out, we actually prefer a dark scenario. When we walk into a dark room, we know that we can play because we can shape the scene how we want it. So long story short, if your venue, if your church, if anything is in a dark scenario, don't worry about it. We either have lighting, or the cameras that we use nowadays is insane what kind of detail you can get out of your photos. Back in the day, I remember ISO 400, or I'm not gonna talk gibberish to non-photographers. But basically, it would be nearly impossible to shoot what we can shoot now with these cameras and the small amount of grain and breakdown that you get in these photos. So if your venue is in a dark area, or your church or anything, we will be absolutely fine. Actually, we prefer it. So I just wanted to make this video just because we get this question quite a bit. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below or send us a message. We always respond as quickly as we can. All right, guys, I'll see you probably next week.